that engine that I just picked up might be a lemon bust, basically a boat anchor. The other night I didn't film it because I didn't think this was going to be an issue, but I wanted to get the valve cover off just to see what it looked like underneath for my free engine for the BMW that I picked up. And also at the same time I wanted to get the oil pan off to see underneath to see if there's anything crazy, and ended up there was. So pulled the oil pan off with the engine flipped. It was flipped around, and sitting on that oil pump screen were just some extra hardware just in case. So we got, and this is just super depressing. 2 bolts. As you can see, that one has a little bent nut head, so that's cool. Same with this one. Definitely has been smashed, maybe ran down the side of a cylinder wall, because here in my hand, there's chips of what I believe, which I know for sure are the skirt to the piston skirt. There's a couple more. They're pretty soft, so maybe it's been running with these in there. These have been pretty well worn down. It's not like a fresh break. I'm trying to make myself feel better because this kind of sucks. But yeah, here's pistons. There's a couple more little pieces scattered throughout the oil pan here. Don't know how easy it is to see in there, but there's some sludge, which whatever, but there are pieces broken right up in there. And also, which I didn't think was as big of a deal, this engine did have a little corrosion. It more looks like surface from like moisture. So that I wasn't as concerned. The camshaft had a whole bunch on it, but I plan on putting a new cam in it anyways. So that also wasn't a big concern, that some of these lobes have some pretty bad surface rust, which I think would come right off, but who knows. So you could see it in there. This engine does turn. Well, I had a video of it turning. I have not yet turned it, so I'm going to see if I can get it to rotate. But, so yeah, that's step one in getting a free engine, more or less, or supposedly, you know, the guy got it from, super great guy. He definitely wasn't saying that this is a running good engine. He's like, it came out, it rotates, probably just needs to be freshened up. But yeah, it was free, so I'm not too upset. Hopefully I could salvage some of this stuff and make it work. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the head off, because I want to see if that cylinder wall is damaged from those pieces bouncing up and down, getting all thrown around in there. And maybe, you know, the piston itself I know is bad. I have other pistons I can use, so I want to see where we go from there. So yeah, I'm going to set it up, get this head off, and go from there. All right, I'm going to start pulling off the distributor. Doesn't need to come out to pull the head, but it's just an extra thing I don't want to potentially get broken while pulling this head off. So we're working on getting off. You know, I think I'm just going to pull it off with everything on there, because I really just want to get this off and see how it looks. So I believe that the number one, what I could see from underneath the engine, that the number one is the one that it broke off, and that's the only one. But so you know, that one has some corrosion in it. I don't know if you could see. That one is some gross stuff. All of these are filled with a little bit of dirt. So let me get the wrench on there. We're gonna just try to rotate it. Just want to see how it feels. This belt's not good, but we're gonna cut that just to help any bit we can. Oh no. Get seized up. Cool. Oh, oh. No, that's not what I wanted. Alright, put this back in there. I loosened up the timing chain. Oh, well, that's shitty. Okay. I'm just breaking shit now. Luckily, they have a couple of the chain guys. Okay, well, since this is off and all off now, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're not going to be able to turn it. It did move, but now that we've ran into some of these issues, things are getting a little more interesting. Oh, yep, there it goes. Oh, shit. Alright. Well, I know which valve was open, but I'm not completely upset right now, a little bit, but let's show you what we got. All right, here it is. Just by looking at this, you could tell me which valve has been sitting open this whole time. Yeah, probably that one. The thing is this, look at that, that is clean. There is a rim where it's set, but man, if I just pull it, this sounds crazy, but that might be salvageable. I had to try to fix this one. Jesus, that sucks. That was just one. If that wasn't there, these look like they've been sitting up. This one, surprisingly, looks super clean. This is the one, I think the piston is broken, but maybe you can do a quick home job and clean it up. Who knows? All right, this is not the right way, but I'm just gonna coat all of this with some penetrating oil. Just to go to town on it. And definitely I'm saying this is not what you do, but I'm gonna run a hone. This is a smaller hone, but it might just do the trick. Luckily this is not a big. That's just gonna be a mess. That's cool. All right. Let me show you where we're at right now in this fourth cylinder. Definitely not runnable, but it's slowly taking it down. As you can see, all that corrosion. I don't know.
Pitted, so pitted.
The other side looks brand new after doing a quick hone. Super shitty, so I'm hoping I can get that one. I might just have to go get this thing slightly bored over, which I did not want to do. Yeah, besides that, it's a great block. I'm gonna try to pull this piston real quick. The rusted one. I could show you guys later. There are two. 1 and 3 are definitely the pistons are damaged on that. The skirt is damaged on the pistons. I can show you, which I also realized these are flat top pistons, And the ones I have floating around, which I think are salvageable, are actually the piano style, so the high top. So it should make more compression. Anyways, what happens in there where the crank and this meet, there's only a gap. So I'm thinking those bolts hit there every time it came up and broke the pieces off and didn't get jammed in the cylinder wall, which is nice. These have some scoring and stuff on the skirt, so I'm not too concerned. I might just be able to polish those up a little, make sure there's no high points that'll rub. But I am going to measure these and see where we sit. And obviously, I'm not going to reuse these rings, but I don't know, they look pretty decent. But I'm going to order new piston rings, and I think what I'm going to do is use these piston. I'm going to pull off the number 4 piston. I'm going to get this out. Oh, or getting it. So I am going to get new bearings regardless, all around for the bottom of this engine. So the crank and the piston connecting rods are going to get new bearings, and we'll see how that goes. So this one is not damaged, which doesn't matter because the piston itself is going to get replaced. Oh yeah, someone has marked these. It was 4, so this someone's been in this engine before, obviously, because they left some bolts in there for me. Gosh. And someone left the intake uncovered and dumped rust down it. So that's cool. So cool. This is noticeable on camera that this is flat and this one has what they call a piano top. There you go. So it looks like a grand piano. Pretty excited. We're going to run with these for sure. And never seen no arrow though. So I'm gonna have to... Oh, there's the arrow. So I know which way these go in. So we're going to clean these bad boys up. Nail. I think these are nails. We'll see how it goes. So I get a pretty good honing done on it with just what I have. I think I'm gonna order another one in. That one I cracked the stones on it, but just to see if I could pull this off without taking it to the machine shop. But now thinking it might just be worth it to take it to a shop, have them just do this, the lightest bit of boring on it, just barely. All I could say is, I don't know, I'm a little depressed, a little taken back right now that
Alright, so we have the engine block back from the machine shop. They were able to hone it and sleeve it and deck the top of the block. So currently we've got the piston with the rings in and the ring compressor on, installing the bearings, making sure that tang is lined up with the tang on the connecting rod, and pressing it in firmly. And this whole time always having everything oiled up so nothing gets damaged. Now, also remembering when you have your rings in there to never have the gaps lined up, so having each gap offset is the best way to make sure everything is sealed up. So I'm going to grab some rubber hose that goes over the studs of the rod. Those are just going to help protect while it's going down to not mar up that crank. And set it down slowly, making sure that arrow on the piston as well is facing forward. So everything is lined up. I'm gonna grab a soft mallet and start tapping it down, watching to make sure those rings set inside the cylinder and nothing on the bottom hits the crank. Definitely take your time while doing it because you really don't want to damage the rings, the new cylinder walls, or the connecting rod. But you'll see it'll eventually just pop right down and it's in. So it's that simple, making sure those rings are compressed all the way in to make it fit through that cylinder wall. Pulling out those tubes, and that's installing a piston. Now we're going to be flipping it over and putting on the bottom piece of the rod, the cap, making sure the cap also matches that piston. You don't want to mix these up. So now it's flipped over. As you can see, I have some yellow markings on there. That's knowing that I have torqued them and also witness marks. So if anything does loosen up, you could see that they won't be lining up anymore. But I make sure I do that every time I torque them. And so I just finished torquing 1, 2, and 3. So I'll go ahead and mark those now so I don't forget or accidentally over torque them. Then we're going to go ahead, once these are marked, and get that 4th cap on. And now I'm going to make sure the bearing's on there, and I'm going to be showing you here how to use the plasti gauge.
I went ahead and did the first 1, 2, 3 crank connecting rods, torqued them, checked them with plasti gauge. They came out great, and put the nuts on, torqued it down. They are set. So I left this last one to show an example just so I could focus and get this right the first time and then get to this one. So it's really hard to see, but if you look up plasti gauge, there's just this little green strip, and I have my new bearing set, the piston up here, and we'll just slide that over the plasti gauge. And also note, don't put oil or anything on this when doing it. So also don't rotate anything while you're doing it. And we're gonna just stick this on. I give it a little tap to help bring it down just a little there, so it comes down evenly, because you don't want to torque one side more than the other, then you'll be in trouble. So we'll bring that down. And if no one knows what the plasti gauge is doing, is it's a certain type of plastic with a certain density that when it gets smashed, it spreads out to the exact width of whatever that gap is. And the way it comes is in a little strip of paper like this, and those are your measurements, and I'll show you when we get there, but that's what it'll look like once we get this torqued. Oh, don't want to spin it, dang it. Okay, that's done. Take it off. I think the only thing that sucks about all this is it's a repetitive process. So you're going to put it on and off twice just to double check your measurements. And so far everything's good, because all my stuff I inspected and it was fine, and never had to regrind or fix any crankshaft or anything, because everything, the original stuff, was still really good shape. So we're gonna get this, the cap's gonna need to be tapped off. All right, so it's gonna be hard to see, but we have, and I'll show it closer once I'm done, but there is the plasti gauge stuff smashed between them, and we're going to bring it down and I'll show you how it measures. All right, so we got a closer look here. Here's piston number 4, crankshaft journal, whatever you want to call it. There's that plasti gauge. So it's a green, kind of hard to tell, but you could see it there. And basically what you do is you rip off a piece like that, and then you use that piece to stick there. And when it's all said and done, you're going to take your measurement, we're doing millimeters, and you're going to line it up with the one that fits. And I'm looking for the 38, so that's perfect right there. It fits. You can see the different thicknesses. And that's basically it. So this is good. We're going to scrape that off and then put oil on it, torque it down, and the bottom end is now built.